And it goes to Margaret Obas.
I'm quite excited to be the winner of the Access Bank Womenpreneur Pitchathon class of 2021. It's been interesting. I don't really know. I don't know how to express my excitement, but I worked hard for it, and I'm sure every other entrepreneur, every other womenpreneur worked hard as well. But being crowned the winner is like a big dream come true for me, and I'm so happy. I want to say thank you to Access Bank, thank you to W Initiative, and may God bless us all. Amen.
I see a light inside of you, so let it shine. Get up, don't let nothing hold you. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we go there, 'cause we believe in you. Say one day you go make a one day, one day, one day. Yes, we believe in you. Don't you give up on yourself till the world knows who you are. Keep on shining. Get up, don't let nothing hold you. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. One day you'll be like the sun, so one day you go shine.
Access, more than banking.
I'm tired of trying. I need help. I want to try IVF. I know it's expensive.
Are you struggling with a health challenge? Do you need financial help to access treatment? If yes,
apply now for MHSS, the Maternal Health Service Support, a discounted loan by the W Initiative of Access Bank with low interest rates, no loan fees, flexible repayment plan. This is your best bet for financing your health needs. For more information, visit our website on www.thewcommunity.com or any Access Bank branch nationwide. You can also send an email to wcares@accessbankplc.com. Terms and conditions apply. The MHSS has successfully financed hundreds of health procedures.
The next one could be yours.
Business women can now access a flexible vehicle finance loan specially designed with their interests at heart. Are you a woman in business, or do you know a woman in business who is interested in purchasing a vehicle? If your answer is yes to any of these two questions, then this message is for you. With our exciting loan offers, women in business can now purchase brand new or pre-owned vehicles from the bank's approved vendors with an equity contribution as low as 10%, a competitive interest rate of 15%, and a tenure of up to 48 months. To get started, send us an email on wcares@accessbankplc.com. Share the good news and get on board.
Mommy, my tummy hurts so much. I'm scared.
It is well, my daughter.
Me self, I'm scared. You should be at the hospital already. Why can't we use one of these cars?
Who will drive it? You?
Sis, so you can't drive yet.
I beg, leave me.
Focus, Joe. Book that ride.
It is important that women do not only learn how to drive, but to fully understand the driving rules and be a professional on the road.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning.
This road is a one-way.
This one is one way.
Where did you learn how to drive?
This is why the W initiative of Access Bank has partnered with the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, to provide intensive driving training for women across Nigeria at very discounted rates, as well as other amazing offers, such as the driver's license processing assistance. Check out our social media pages at the W community, or send an email to wcares@accessbankplc.com. Do not miss out on this opportunity. Hurry now and let's get you driving.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Education Forum 3.0, powered by the W initiative of Access Bank. It is always a pleasure to have you join us on the W webinar series, which is specially curated to deliver insightful content to you, as the W initiative is aimed at inspiring, connecting, and empowering women. Today, we will be addressing concerns that relate to every stakeholder involved in the education sector in any capacity, whether you're a teacher, you're a parent, or a school owner. This is for you. So make sure to sit back and enjoy every bit of this session. Thank you again for joining us and welcome to the session. My name is Ifeoluwa Omoto, and as always, it is my utmost delight to be your host on this webinar. Traditionally, academic learning has always been the focal point in measuring a child's development. However, it has been proven that children require much more than just academic success to thrive in today's world. This webinar hopes to ignite open discussions among stakeholders on shaping the next generation and prioritizing children's emotional well-being. Now, to kick off the session, would like to take the welcome address. Please welcome with me the Unit Head, Consumer Assets at Access Bank, Thelma Luke Unwoye. Good afternoon, Thelma, and thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you so much for that welcome. I hope everyone is as excited as I am. I want to welcome you to the W webinar series, yet another one of our innovative series. It promises to be engaging, it promises to be exciting, very insightful and educative. W Women series has powered educative programs back to back, and I'm happy and glad that everyone is here. We welcome also our speakers, Dr. Abimbola Ogundere and Dieti Williams. Please sit back, bring out your notes. If you have anyone you need to invite, please go ahead and invite them. And I can assure you that at the end of the day, you'll be glad that you did. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining. And if you'll take it from here, please. We can hear you. If I can hear mute, please.
Thank you very much, Thelma, for that warm welcome. And one very important thing she mentioned is that you should bring out your notepads, your pens, and feel comfortable and enjoy every bit of the session today. It's going to be insightful. It promises to be impacting to you as well. Now, as we all know, Access Bank remains, has always been at the forefront of banking for women. And, with the aspiration to be the bank of choice for women in the communities and markets that we serve, Access Bank has created a dedicated desk for women. The next speaker I'm going to bring up will introduce the W Initiative to us. Please join me as we welcome from the W Initiative, the team lead Women in Business segment. Olubusola Ogundipe. Good afternoon, Busola, and welcome to the session. Thank you for joining us.
All right, good afternoon, Ife. Thank you so much. Please confirm you can hear me, you can see my screen, and you can also see me.
Yes, we can hear you, we can see your screen, and we can see you.
All right, thank you so much. And thank you so much to Selma for that warm welcome. I will just be taking us briefly on the W Initiative and what we have for the education sector. Like Ife rightly mentioned, the W Initiative is the home of everything that Access Bank has to offer women. And we pride ourselves in ensuring that, the bank can be positioned in every market that we serve, as the bank of choice for women. So we have, taken this project, since 2014 to ensure that we can cater to the needs of women across all walks of life and across our focus segments. The W also has been able to expand our presence into the markets that Access Bank has presence in. So we're currently present in over 10 African countries, and we're expanding, of course, in the course of our project and our impact and promise to ensure that we can bank and serve all the women in the markets and communities that we serve. Like I said, the W Initiative had actually started in 2006 with what we call the Gender Empowerment Program. And the Gender Empowerment Program was targeted at women in business to provide access to on-lending finance as well as capacity building to help these businesses grow. As a result of the success of this program, Access Bank had then initiated what we call the W Initiative in partnership with leaders and thought changers in this segment to ensure that we are not just creating a program that is available to women, but we are doing it with a target in mind of attending to the financial and lifestyle needs of women. And we've done this over the years to ensure that, we're providing access to finance, access to capacity building, as well as access to markets in a number of, locations that we are present in. The W Initiative is basically our opportunity and our, way of showing that the bank is further committed to women economic empowerment and to ensure that we, remain present in ensuring that women are sustainable, women are much more improved and impacted in the communities that we serve. And we have presence, like I said, in 10 African countries, and our primary focus is to inspire, connect, and empower women. Our focus segments ranges from the Women in Business, which was our pioneer segment, where the W Initiative was launched in 2006 under the GERM program. And we have the W Professionals, basically women, in their 9 to 5, careers. Career women basically are the women that will fall under the W Professionals. We have the W and Family, we have the Gen Z, and we have the W Quintessential. The W and Family represents any woman that has decided to, care for her family, ensure that the children are properly nurtured, and to ensure that the home front is properly managed. While the Gen Z, of course, the young minds, the people that are really changing the world right now out there. So the young women doing things that are spectacular, as well as the W Quintessentials, basically providing an opportunity for women to give back to the generations that are coming up, ahead of them. And that's what the W quintessential basically represents. Women that have, made impacts in their various communities, in their various walks of lives. I'll speak to some of the offerings, that we actually have specifically for the education sector, because today our focus is primarily for the education ecosystem. And like Ife rightly mentioned, we're not just speaking to one segment of the education sector, we're speaking to every single touch point, every point where the child is, cared for, from the school owners to the teachers, to their parents, and to the children. We have something available for you under the W initiative of Access Bank. For the school owners, we have something, we have a cost-effective business account we've called the Access School Advantage. I'll speak to that more in detail in my next slides. This product actually gives our customers access to flexible funding. Of course, we know that schools, their nature of cash flow definitely differs, and we're able to, provide the kind of funding that will suit their cash flow to ease their repayment patterns. We also have capacity building programs. This is one of the platforms that we use to improve the capacity of school owners to be better and to be sustainable brands. We also have our payment and e-collection solutions. We also know that, the world is going digital, and we have to help our customers to ensure that they can, get as much value to their community, which is, of course, the parents and the teachers, as well as the children, while they're able to, drive their payments collections and fees collections. For the teachers, we have what we call the zero cost salary account under our everyday banking product, where salary accounts can be owned by your staff or teachers of a school at no cost. And the exciting thing about this is that as long as those salary accounts are domiciled with Access Bank, these businesses can actually, or these individuals rather, can actually borrow with us, leveraging their salaries, which we call the salary-backed loans. So for those that are looking to get payments, school fees advance, payday loans, to cover some form of little expenses, this salary account actually avails you all of those opportunities. And for the teachers, we also go as much as doing capacity building sessions, things around mental health, even the well-being of the teacher. We know that when the teachers are not properly cared for, it has a ripple effect on the children and even on the school itself. And, we do things around them. And, good enough, the Teachers' Day is coming up soon. So please, teachers, watch out for what the W initiative has to offer you, because we have a lot coming in store for you. Now, to the parents in the room, you're not left out. We have what we have called the access to school fees loans under our advance for school fees. Of course, back to school is heading in the corner, around the corner, and it's an opportunity for parents, to access funds against their salaries or against their business accounts to be able to repay, plan to pay for their children's school fees. And yeah, some schools have, some opportunities for parents that pay ahead of time to get some form of discount. So this is an opportunity for parents, that have banking relationships with Access Bank. And for those that are looking to go into a relationship, this is a time for you to, reconsider that, because you have that advantage to access funding and to meet up your payment of fees for children as they come. We also have the opportunity for parents to access what we call the W Power Loan for those that have female owned businesses. This also applies to school owners. So for our female school owners, you actually stand a chance to win. Sorry, you stand a chance to get a loan at a discounted price with Access Bank under the W initiative. We also have the option where, parents that have to pay for their children, schooling outside the country, we have what we call the Access Africa payment platform that helps you actually do cross-currency payments in local currency. I'll repeat that again. You can actually use your local currency here in Nigeria to pay for your children's fees across a number of African countries and even across Europe and some other countries that we have, this payment platform going into. So of course, if you have further inquiries, would be delighted to take your inquiries. You can send that to the wcares@accessbankplc.com. We'll be able to assist you on the Access Africa payment platform, as well as the American Express card. I'll speak to that in more details on the next slide. And for the children, of course, which is the focus for us today, we have what we call the Early Savers program, where we have the Early Savers account, and we also have the Financial Literacy program. I've spoken to the Access School Advantage, but I wanted to really touch more on the fact that this account has actually made it convenient for the schools to structure the fees on these accounts to meet the school cycle. And it's affordable for you because you do not have to pay monthly account maintenance fee. Your fees are actually paid on a termly basis to suit the cycle of the school cash flows. It's also an opportunity for school owners to get uncollateralized loans, against your school cash flows. So you're able to get short-term loans to augment your needs for maybe you want to do an upgrade, maybe the school wants to, go through some form of expansion. You can access funding as a result of you owning this type of account with Access Bank. I'll speak to what we call the W debit card, which is a special card that we have for our female customers that gives them access to a number of discounts. And it's one form of, really identifying our W community members. So if you are a community member and you do not have the W debit card, you're most likely not a bona fide member of the W community. I would suggest and advise that you visit any of the Access Bank branches today, or anytime you walk in, just requesting for the W debit card. Now, this card doesn't just give you an identity as a W community member, but it also gives you access to discounts with our discount partners, ranging from lifestyle to healthcare to beauty partners and fashion partners, of course. And a woman who doesn't love discounts, we want to get as much value for our finances as much as possible. So this is an opportunity for every woman, the parents, the teachers, to take an opportunity to sign up for the W debit card. It's also a card that can serve as your regular debit card on your account, where you make payments via POS, make withdrawals on ATMs as well. For the American Express card, so this is one special product that Access Bank recently launched. As a matter of fact, Access Bank is the first Nigerian bank to actually go into such a partnership. Now, we may all, have heard about the American Express card in the United States, how this card gives people, privileges and gives them access to a number of, amazing offers. Now, this card has two variants. We have the gold card and we have the platinum card. Now, this card actually is a credit card. And what a credit card really means is gives you access to cash ahead of time. And it gives you an access to a number of lounges. So for those travelers and people that are preparing for, the Christmas holidays, we know that the summer holidays just rounded up, but ahead of the Christmas holidays, you actually have a lot of benefits. You can use this card to get, discounts on your flight bookings, your hotel bookings. You can also even use this card as your, as a dual currency card. So you can use it to do Naira transactions and dollar-denominated transactions. It gives you, the gold card is a plastic variant card, while the platinum card is a metal kind of card that gives you access to a lot of offers. For the food lovers in the house, Amex gives you, access to discounts with participating food partners. And you also have a number of travel and lifestyle benefits that you can get. I'll be speaking to our loan suite for the school owners. Now, I mentioned earlier, that as a school owner, banking with Access Bank, especially if you are female, you have a lot of advantage with us. The fact that you are a woman alone and you even have your business registered as a woman, you first of all get the opportunity to get it at a discounted price. When I mean discounted, I mean really discounted compared to what you would get in the market right now. And this pricing is designed to actually help businesses cost save and even turn over their cash flows to be able to make more money on the business. Businesses can access up to 100 million naira. Of course, this is subject to your business turnover, and you have the chance to, fit the repayment to your business pattern. It's accessible for working capital needs, asset acquisition needs, and business expansion. So school owners that are getting ready for children to come back to school, this is your go-to product for you to, renovate, get that equipment that you need for your laboratory. This is very flexible. And I would say that for up to 10 million naira, you do not require any form of tangible collateral. All you just be required to do is show somebody that will stand for you as a guarantor, and you're good to go. The vehicle loan also gives you an opportunity to access funds to buy that school bus that you really need. So school owners that require a school bus, either new or pre-owned, this is your opportunity to actually sign up to the W community and buy that school bus that you truly need at a discounted price as well. And the tenure is as much as 48 months for the vehicle loan finance. I'll speak to what we call the maternal health service support. It's actually what we call our baby making products that gives you access to finance for fertility treatments, child delivery, fibroid treatment, bariatric treatments, as well as a couple of specialized procedures. Now, this product is one of the lowest cost funding that's available for health finance. So if you have a woman in your life, or you know someone around that needs funding to help her complete her family, to help them, in a quest of better livelihood, this product is available to both salary earners and business owners, as the case may be. To round off, I would like to say, to stay connected with every single thing that the W has, because we have lots more than we have been able to share today. And, everyone needs to be a partaker of this. Please follow us on the W community on all social platforms. Now, the W community, just as spelled, on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at the W Initiative. And please do not forget to click on the icon, that bell icon on the YouTube channel, because it gives you notification anytime we come on live, for you to get ample information for everything that we have to offer women, and even women, even the entire ecosystem of a woman. This program today is not just only for the woman. Everyone should actually be a beneficiary of this session. If you have any inquiries or any complaints or anything you want to, any further inquiries you want to make about all we have said, please feel free to reach out to us at the W Cares at Access Bank PLC. I'll be most delighted to respond to your inquiries and your requests. Thank you so much, and over to you, Ifeoluwa.
Thank you so much, Olubusola. It is always very interesting to learn about the amazing things Access Bank is doing for women through the W initiative. Now, what we would like you to do is to go to the comment section to introduce yourselves and tell us where you're joining us from. You can also include what you do. Who knows? Your next collaboration might just be from here. And now, as you've all heard, the W initiative is set to inspire, connect, and empower you. So you need to follow us across our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at the W community. And you should also make sure to click the subscribe button below, just so that you are part of the first people to learn of the beautiful things that the W initiative is doing. Thank you once again, Olubusola. Now, as we know, the role played by parents, teachers, and school owners in the education process cannot be overemphasized. It is important to mention at this point that success or failure of the education process depends on the interaction of these three groups and the roles that they play, which is why we have put together this session to enlighten you on what
is important when it comes to shaping the next generation. Now, who better to enlighten us on this than the amazing speakers that we have brought to you? The first person I'd like to introduce is an internationally recognized global education leadership expert, school leadership coach, best-selling author, sought-after trainer and speaker on education leadership and the advancement of quality education in sub-Saharan Africa. She's the founder and CEO of Kids Court School, a renowned nursery and primary school in Lagos, Nigeria, founded in 2009 when she was only 27 years old. She's also the founder and CEO of Court Hill College, a co-educational secondary school in Lagos, Nigeria, founded in 2021. In 2018, due to her enthusiasm for quality education provision, she started the Learning as I Teach Foundation Africa, a non-for-profit organization dedicated to improving the quality of education received by an average African child. She has authored several education-focused best-selling books, which has been read by over 5,000 educators around the African continent. In March 2021, she was awarded as one of the leading ladies Africa's 100 most inspiring women and Elverida's 5 outstanding women in business. And in 2002, she was recognized as the educator by Entrepreneur East Africa and MasterCard. She is none other than Dr. Abimbola Ogundere. Good afternoon, Dr. Abimbola, and welcome. Dr. Abimbola, are you there with us?
Yes, I am. I hope you can hear me and see me.
Yes, we can hear you. Good afternoon, Ma, and thank you so much for joining us. I would like to introduce the second speaker. She is the founder of Lagos Moms, the first Nigerian blog dedicated to moms, parents, and caregivers. She believes that parenting should be a mindful and collaborative process. As a parenting coach, our mission for creating the Lagos Moms community is to be a family, life, and parenting resource for moms, parents, and caregivers, as she believes that it takes an e-village to raise a child in the 21st century. She's a certified life coach, neuro-linguistic programming practitioner, member of the European Mentoring and Coaching Council, and she is trained in cognitive behavioral therapy and emotional freedom techniques. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Economics and Mathematics from the University of Pittsburgh and an MBA in Strategy and Finance from the Yale School of Management, with an executive degree in Digital Marketing from the University of Cambridge. She's a social entrepreneur and has over 20 years of working experience, which spans financial services and real estate consulting. Please welcome with me, Mrs. Yeti Williams. Good afternoon, ma'am, and welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here.
For joining us. We are excited to have you on the session today. Now, I am sure that we are all excited to listen to the wealth of knowledge that will be dished out to us this evening. So without wasting any time, please welcome again Dr. Abimbola Ogundere, who will be speaking to us on the topic Cultivating Study Skills and Emotional Well-Being for Children. Welcome again, Dr. Abimbola, and thank you for joining us here.
Thank you so much, Ifelua. Excellent anchoring skills over there. Well done. Thank you so much to the whole, the team over there at W Initiative of Access Bank. Thank you, Access Bank. Well done. Good evening, everyone. It's always a privilege to be on a platform where I can share from my wealth of experience and, of course, knowledge. Thank you so much. So this afternoon, so I believe I have the permission to share, so I'm going to just go right ahead and get that done. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Ifelua, can you see my screen, please? Ifelua?
Yes, we can see your screen. There? Please go ahead.
Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, so again, good afternoon. So I'm going to start, of course, the theme is beyond academics, shaping the next generation. So this is me. I'm excited to be here. Parents play a crucial role in their children's academic success and socio-emotional well-being. Parents also play an important role in helping their children develop the skills needed for a life of success in the 21st century. So I'm just going to read out pieces of research, right? So deep intensive research, one states that students will take education more seriously, do well academically, display better behavior in school, and assume greater responsibility for their actions when they find their parents are actively involved. Other research indicated that students with highly involved parents had better academic performance and higher test scores in all the subjects compared to students whose parents were not involved in their education. Another one states that the outcomes of successful parent involvement include students' enrollment is higher, homework is done, academic achievement is higher, school expectations are positive, higher goals are set, higher school graduation is reached, and the higher levels of education are obtained. I just thought it would be good to share that. So just in case there's a parent out there, what's the word I like to use? Outsourcing, right? The academic part of their parenting responsibility. You know, it's easy to find parents who would say, oh, I've paid the school fees, you know, I've got some lesson tutors, some lesson teachers, you know, so why do I have to be involved? But I mean, these three separate research, right, saying that the importance of parental involvement, very crucial, very, very crucial, right? Excellent. So let's move on quickly. So today I'll be focusing on three areas. I will be focusing, let's use that word, spending a bit of time setting areas, and then of course, I would rush through certain areas, right? So you can always do that screenshot, you can take your notes, but just to let you know that there's a lot to be covered in 40 minutes. So we'll be talking about academic success, right? Effective study habits, effective study techniques to maximize learning potential in children. I'm going to be speaking a lot. She's going to drop in a couple of times. My first daughter, you know, the IGCSE results were just released, and she got 6 A stars and 4 A's. And the reason why I'm going to use her as a reference point is because it was an interesting journey getting to 6 A stars. And I'm going to bring her up a little bit here. I'm also going to bring up some of my children at the college who also did the Cambridge checkpoint in year 9, just to bring this home a bit. You know, sometimes it's good to use, you know, some concrete, right? Some so that we can connect with a lot of the things I'm going to be saying this afternoon. Now, the second will be transferable skills needed for success in the 21st century. And what are these skills? And what are the things that parents can do to help create or foster the development of these skills in their children? Again, like I said, a lot is being done in school, right? But I think that, or I know that parents are their children's permanent, lifelong teachers. I still spoke to my mom today, and I was asking her some questions, right? So, and they are consistent. So parents are the consistent. So nursery, primary, secondary, you know, university and all that, changing locations, changing schools, parents are consistent. So what can parents themselves do, right, to create, to foster some of these transferable 21st century skills? And of course, we have to strike a balance. And like I said, that's where I'm going to sort of bring up my daughter a bit. We have to strike a balance between the academic demands, you know, You have to get all A stars. You have to get, and nurturing emotional resilience. What is too much? When are we going, tipping it to the other direction where the child begins to get some measure of stress, right? So we're going to talk about that. So I hope these three areas very clearly communicated. So I'm going on. So of course, the first one is effective study approaches. What can we do at home as parents? Schools are there. We understand that schools are there. But what can parents do? What can parents do? And like I said, you cannot outsource this. You cannot call a friend. You cannot delegate or abdicate this. You have to have that measure of presence in your child's academic life. So the first thing is that you set realistic goals, any type of children, and maybe not so okay. But I'll be honest with you in saying that even for my daughter, it was an aspirational goal, right? It was an aspirational goal because I also wanted, sometimes you set high expectations. So that if you say 6 A stars and child gets 4 A stars, you are so excited, right? But we want to teach our children, we want to encourage them, we want to help them learn how to set goals, short-term goals, long-term goals, and we also need to teach them how to do it by themselves, right? So academic goals, handwriting goals, study goals, completing certain task goals, homework goals, we need to be able to set, and then of course, long-term in terms of summative. So at the end of this whole period, right, after we did our, what we call third term exam, nobody calls them promotional exams anymore, the child has gotten A, B, C, D, right? And of course, much like we do for ourselves as adults, it is never too early to teach your children how to set realistic goals, how to break them down into action points. That is the first thing. Now, the next thing is that we need to create a supportive environment, right? Sometimes in our children do not even reading space. They don't have that study corner, that study nook. So it doesn't have to be a whole room. It doesn't have to be a big, great table, right? They're not a CEO yet, right? But a very lovely table, very portable, in one, in a nice area, free of distractions, very, very key, right? So again, once I'm reeling these things out, is a checklist. You need to be asking yourself, which, what have I done? What am I yet to do? And which one am I doing and I'm not doing well enough? So of course, your children need to have pens. Pens and notebooks and erasers are not only for school, right? They are not only for school. We need to have the home pens, the home notebooks, the home reference materials. If your child is at the computer using age, which is at this point, any age really, right? They have that place, that computer they can use for reference, right? But the emphasis really is on that supportive environment, right? That quiet space where they know this space is for reading. The next bit of it is establishing a consistent routine. I had an interview in the school today, and I said to the parent, when your child gets home, what does your child do? What happens? So I know it's busy. Oh, wow, it's a busy life. We parents are trying, wow, it's not easy. However, this, otherwise is imprinted, on us as well. So establishing a routine, you get home, right? You eat, you take a nap, you get up, you take a bath, right? You read a book, right? You can play. Play is good. I don't have any problem with play, right? And then you know that from certain time to certain time, non-negotiably, it is study time. It is study time. And I can tell you that if you let people in the home know, so your housekeeper or whoever, even older children, right? Older siblings, they know that this is the study time for this child. You will see that when you train and you hold them accountable, they are going to, after a while, get used to it, right? So that consistency is very important, and it develops discipline. So you don't want to have a situation where your child is 17, 18, 19, and the child cannot just sit down to read calmly and quietly. That's, we've not done a lot. We've not done so well in that parenting. The next, obviously, is time management. And I think this is key because, some children just think, oh, I have all the time. I'm going to do this, when it is a certain time. But they need to understand that everybody in the world has 24 hours. And what you are doing with that 24 hours is extremely important for your success, right? Even now, when I'm coaching adults, they find it so difficult to use their time effectively. And that is so interesting, right? These are 40-year-old people, 50-year-old people who are still struggling with time management. So imagine if, as a lovely parent, this summer, imagine if this summer you had just sat down with your child to say, guess what? I'm going to teach you how to manage time. Wake up, do this, do that, and all that. And you can set a plan. I'm a writing person, so I would always just write these things out, type them out, paste them all over my house, so that anybody that is working, remember what time you're meant to do what, right? Yes, I want to watch TV. Yes, I want to play the game, but which one is more important? It is important to begin to teach these things now. And of course, when you hold them accountable, they develop that discipline to stick to time, right? To stick to time and get their work done. Of course, next is modeling effective study habits. So I think that one thing my children are going to say about me is that I am always, there's that I'm working, I'm studying. So right now I'm at home because it's summer and they already know that mommy is getting on, a webinar. And, so you need to sort of, that strong work ethic. Your children are watching you. Every single thing, who you are. So if you're that kind of parent that just sits down in front of, I don't want to name anything, but those time-wasting things that they show on TV now, and you sit down there for hours, the child is imbibing that, okay, correct. What a lovely life to live. I can just sit down in front of this TV for hours on end and it's fine, right? What are you demonstrating? What are you showing? What are your children seeing? What are you modeling, right? And you can always share stories from your experience. I do that all the time, about effective studying. So let me give an example. Every year, I'm always, studying something. So this year, I took a quick, short course, about 8 weeks at University of Cambridge, high impact leadership. And, so I had the study time because they had assessments. So my children will come, what are you doing? I'm doing my assignment. They will look at, yes, it's an assignment, right? I'm going to, so they see that, okay, this woman is really, really serious about this sort of a thing. So they're getting that, hopefully, and they're, I'm acting as a model to them. Now, with your children, listen. And I'll use that as an example, right, for my child. So my daughter is very techy. My older daughter, very techy. And, she got a tablet, she was putting, and my husband and I did not understand that. You read, where is your note? Where are your jotters, right? Where are the things that when we were reading, it shows that we are really reading? Where are these things? And she kept on, there was a day my husband was so furious. I want to see your jottings. Excuse me, I want to see your jottings. I want to see your, and she was like, what do you mean by jotting? And I'll be honest with you. So this is someone who graduated as the best graduating student in ICT in her school. In computer science, she got a star. In ICT, she got a star. She's a techie. But we were saying, no, we don't understand this one. We need to see jotting. We need to see big textbook. We need you to be carrying textbook and big right? But she explained to us that, what are you saying? That's not what I'm to do. And we, right? And obviously, to the glory of God, down. So it's good to listen to them and hold them accountable to it. So if you say this is your style, this is your way, this is your whatever, then I want to see it in your results. So you cannot say, oh, your way is this way, and then I get your result and you are getting and ease and ungraded, right? So that is very, very important. They are reading, ask them about material. It's easier for someone like me because I'm a teacher, but you know, you can get involved as well. Just ask them, do you think, is this interesting? Why do you know? So that they know that you are present. You might not know further mathematics, but the more you ask them about further mathematics, the more they understand that you are present. At least you want to know what further mathematics is, right? And have conversations with them, right? About the academics is very key. Have conversations with them about the academics, right? So that, again, remember what we said, you are interested, right? So you are not just on this side, they, right, on that side. It's very key. The next is use technology widely to see it. I learned again, right? And I was one day trying to use it in my own, and I thought, you know, maybe I should do this when I don't have tests and exams. But you know, Bob say, no, I'm using my laptop to do this. I'm using my laptop to do that. But me know that. So just ensure, train, monitor that technology is used for productive purposes. So the child is not sitting there in that reading nook, study corner, and they are just playing with you know, games. And they've done 4 hours and it's playing with games. So we need to be very, very careful. You need, again, you need to be careful. You need to be involved in what they are doing. And provide positive reinforcement. I mean, small wins, get excited, well done, high five, wow, wow, wow. That, you know, that boosts them, boosts their motivation, boosts their self-confidence. They want to do more. I mean, everybody here obviously, you know, is working or is, so when things go well for you and someone says, fantastic, can imagine how you feel. Please accord your children the same kind of, you know, grace. When small achievements, sometimes with children is, you know, in education, we talk about attainment and achievement. Attainment is A star. Achievement is that you went from a B to an A star, or, you know, so that is so, or a B, honestly, to a B plus, or a B plus to an A. Fantastic, right? So celebrate that, very key. It boosts them, it boosts their self-confidence. I hope everyone is here. You know, with this, I can't really get a feel or a sense of the house, but I hope we're together. I felt, Lua, are we still together? So the next is obviously offering guidelines, not solutions. Remember that we're trying to empower our children, you know, to be lifelong learners, to understand the concept of study, to be self-directed learners, right? So sometimes it's not just all about saying, go here, come here. I mean, I gave the example of my daughter who, you know, I said, okay, you just need to show that you, so instead of solving the problems, because sometimes these are children in another generation, sometimes they don't need you to, you might not understand, so you can give them the general gist of the solution, but you might not understand the exact, right, tool that they would need to solve that problem. So give them guidelines, you know, tell them stories, tell them, you know, what is important, you know, to wake up in the morning nice and fresh, you know, things like that, right? So that, but, you know, I think for me, why I get excited about my daughter's result is because she did it, you know, in her own way, right? She did it in her own way, and very exciting. You know, that independent thinking, she used flashcards, she put, you know, and she did it and she got it done. So now, for me, I'm, you know, confident that, okay, so she can get this thing done. All right, that's fine. But it was a journey, like I said, a long journey. You know, it wasn't, you know, it's not something that, I mean, if I told you what she got in Mock 1, Mock 2, you probably throw me and throw her out of the room. But the fact that independent thinking and she got it done, I think is okay. Let's move on quickly. Self-care is important, right? It's not all about academics. Don't let the child get overwhelmed and frustrated and, stop taking their self-care. They must eat, they must sleep, right? They must eat, they must sleep. So if there's that, read, and that's the only thing you are talking about, and not thinking about nutrition, they must go for exercise, go for a walk, release whatever tension, release whatever stress, right? Very, very important that we focus on self-care as well, right? So that they don't get, into the other side as so. And of course, health, like we all know, is important for focus, memory, and of course, overall well-being. So just get the child ready. It's like a car that has been serviced, right? A car that has been serviced is ready to move, ready to go, that sort of a thing. So it's important that we know that and we have that. Right, okay, like I said, just be attentive. I think for me, be attentive will then be more around just ensuring, check that your child is okay. Check that your child is fine. Check, ask, are you all right? Observe, right? Observe. Does the child need emotion? I remember one day my daughter woke up and she burst into tears. Don't worry, it's okay. Hug, and it's fine. Right? So be present. I think I kind of emphasize that be present. Don't outsource this. Don't, phone a friend on, concerning this, right? Be present, and watch. We've heard so many wicked stories of children who got so overwhelmed that they started, doing bad things to themselves and getting, involved with things like drugs and things like that. Is not, I always say much, it's not that serious. You understand? It's not that serious. It's not that serious. But if we are not attentive, we will miss it. We will miss it, right? And we don't want to start, solving. We need to be proactive instead of solving, these big issues, God forbid, when they arise. So in these schools, so many things are happening, right? That the child can just, I'm not really reading well. A friend say, hey, you're not reading well. Okay, let me give you this so that you can take it and you read well. Hey, madams and daddies and mommies, please be attentive. Please be attentive. And of course, if your child, my daughter had, let me be honest with you. I will say this. What's that thing? Physics lesson. I'm not saying that. I'm trying to explain to you that this was not, wow, no. It was a journey. If your child is struggling with a particular subject, when I was growing up, I had lesson teacher, Mr. Gemega, Miss Uncle Sam. I had them, please. You understand what I'm saying? So if your child needs support, give your child the support. Let's move on quickly. So let's remember that every child is unique, right? Every child is unique. So whatever approach that you're going to use, important that it is to that child. Don't say, okay, my friend's daughter, my friend said this is what they do this is what she does with her daughter, so I'm going to do it with you. This is the 21st century. We must be careful, right? Ensure that it is tailored to your child's individual needs and preferences. And maintain communication, please. Back and forth. And have education sector,
Hello, Dr. Abimbola. Can you hear me?
Hello, Dr. Bimbola, can you hear me? We apologize, as it seems that she's experiencing a little bit of a network glitch. And so she's gone out and she's trying to join back in. Thank you so much for your patience. Hello, Dr. Abimbola. Hi, Dr. Abimbola. If you can hear me, I would like you to speak now.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello, you hear me?
Bit of a network glitch. I hope it's better now. Please go ahead.
Okay, so you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, all right, fantastic. So I will just go back. Fantastic. And you can see my screen?
Your screen is coming up now.
Can you see my screen, please?
Your screen is still coming up. It's not yet up, but it's coming up. Yes, it's up now.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, ma'am, your screen is up now. You can go ahead with your presentation.
Fantastic. Okay, so what I was saying was, I said many of us used mnemonics when we were in school, right? So that is clear.
We apologize for the glitch in the network. I want to believe that she's trying to join back. However, I think we will just go to the next presenter and we'll let her continue from her presentation once she comes back after this presentation. Mrs. Yeti Williams, are you here with us, please?
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you. Would like to take your presentation now. Thank you very much for your patience. Mrs. Yeti Williams is going to be speaking to us on fostering dynamic parent-teachers partnership for children's development. It is no news that a strong parent and teacher relationship provides the perfect support network for children in education. Now, several studies are proving that collaboration between parents and teachers improve children's academic achievements, work habits, social skills, and emotional well-being. So please put your virtual hands together as we welcome Mrs. Yeti Williams to speak to us on fostering dynamic parent-teachers partnership for children's development. Thank you very much, ma'am, and welcome.
Thank you very much, Ifeoluwa, for the introduction. Trust you can hear me fine. Yes? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for having me here. It's been a very interesting session already, and I've learned so much from Dr. Abimbola. I'm coming with two hats on. One is as a hat of a parent, and the other is as a hat of a parenting coach, who over the years of running my brand, Lagos Moms, I've gotten the privilege, I see it as a privilege, to have spoken to hundreds, maybe up to thousands of parents now. So it's not just about my children that I'm raising. I have 2 teenagers, but also having seen the experiences of several parents and seeing that indeed there are certain commonalities that we see, certain mistakes we can avoid, and certain things that we can do to ensure that we are helping our children succeed. So particularly today, I'm going to be talking around, how to foster parent-teacher relationships, why it's very important, and the benefits to our children. So I'm going to start sharing my screen now. Just kindly confirm once you see that you can see it.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, awesome. Let me start play. Please hold on. Where is my, give me 1 second. Why is my tech not working for me today? Hang on. Hold on, I want to hit play. Hang on, please. Let me go back to that. Give me 1 second.
Me now? By any chance? Can anyone hear me? Why can't anyone hear me? What's going on?
Yes, we can hear you, Dr. Abimbola. Mrs. Yeti just started presenting our slides. So we'll just come back to your presentation once she's done.
Okay, so she can, yeah. So
okay.
Thank you very much, Ma. May I also chip in at this time that for people who have questions, please drop your questions in the Q&A box so that we can take them at the end of the presentations. Ma'am, please go ahead. Thank you very much.
Awesome, that's fine. I would like to do timekeeping. So if you can, maybe when I have 10 minutes to go, if you can just drop me a note that 10 minutes, so I'll know to start to wrap up, and then when I have 2 minutes, please. Okay, so we're talking about fostering parent-teacher partnerships for children's emotional well-being. You know, in my mind, in my experience, and what I've seen, both, like I said, as a parent myself with teenagers and as a parenting coach who's dealt with a lot of parents and their children, we see that the children who do very well, you know, parent-teacher relationships or partnership is very critical, because at the end of the day, a child that's going to do well in school, that's going to succeed in the academics, is going to have a, we want the total child to thrive. Their emotional well-being is very critical. You know, for example, we know that the WHO says that, some of their statistics and research shows that by the year 2030, I believe, depression will be the leading cause of disability worldwide. So what we are seeing is that we cannot ignore the effect that mental health has on everybody, not just children, not just adults, but everybody. And it's very important that as we are raising children in a world post-pandemic, where not everybody has necessarily fully healed back to how they were pre-pandemic, a lot of research shows that a lot of things have changed significantly, even in our learning style, in our abilities to socialize with people in person, what they call IRL, in real life. A lot of children, for example, some of them have not fully recovered from having to go, online to learn. Some of them haven't fully gotten back. So there's a lot going on that we must keep in mind. And I think that's why this topic is very important, because parents and teachers have to be in alignment and they have to be partners when it comes to raising our children. So this is just a picture of a very, happy family, mom, dad with a young girl. When we think about families, we want there to be joy and happiness, and that we're raising these children to be successful adults. In fact, I have a program I run with parents, and I call it the Parent Vision Board. Essentially, how are you creating your vision board as a parent for each child with a realization that you are raising, an adult. Yeah. So we're raising adults. So when you're raising an adult and you are able to go ahead into the future, understanding the unique child you have and the adult you're trying to raise, you then use that to go backwards to determine how exactly am I going to raise, either it's my daughter or my son, to become this kind of adult in the future. What does that really mean for you as a parent who's been given that unique job to nurture, to raise, and to prepare your child for adulthood? And a successful adult doesn't happen overnight. You don't suddenly wake up one day and meet your teenager in the house. That teenager was nurtured into who he or she is. That adult in the future is nurtured into adulthood. So how do we do all of that from day one? And since a big part of our children's lives is going to be in school, it is so important that we get it right. Okay. And it's also important to realize that a child's development, it happens in stages. You know, a child is not fully developed in terms of their brain capacity and their ability to make logical decisions until the age of 25. More and more research is coming out. They have much more fancy imaging tools now that allows them to really look into the brain of a child and see that development of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, which is the front part of the brain where decisions are made, logical decisions are made, doesn't fully develop till a child, an adult is 25. Let's keep that in the back of our mind. So that your teenager at even 15 years old still has a good 10 years of that processing, that ability to really be able to process what's going on. So when you understand and you lean in with empathy, you lean in with understanding, it's easier to say, you know what, let us help our child that developmentally we're supporting each stage. So I wanted to just set that tone because it's so critical for us to understand. When we understand what we're trying to do, when we understand the context of the world we now live in, we can start to say, how do we ensure that we are effective? All right, so I want to talk about the benefits of a strong parent-teacher relationship. You know, Dr. Bimbola mentioned a few of it. From an educationist perspective, she's covered so much of what, you know, you already need to know from the perspective of why does it even matter? But I'll just run through some of this and spend a lot more time on the parent side of things. So obviously, as she's already mentioned, improved academic performance, you know, higher self-esteem, better behavior. We find that when there's a strong parent-teacher relationship, children behave better. The outcomes are better. Because when you are on the same page, you are speaking the same language to a large extent, the child feels secure knowing that my parents and my teachers, they actually are talking. You know, they care about how I behave. They care about my results. They're on the same team. It actually helps a child's performance in general. It positively impacts a child's education journey and their emotional development. The relationship a child has with their teacher, with learning, especially from the early years, from the foundation, is very critical for long term. All a child needs is one teacher who doesn't believe in them, who says they don't know what they're doing, who says they are dumb, kind of horrible things that actually happen. And that child can be derailed. And then you then add on top maybe a parent who's unaware of what is going on and what the teacher has said to the child, or what the teacher's impression is. Children read all of these things and pick it up. So it's very important that there's a strong parent-teacher relationship. And it's our job as parents from day one to start to foster that relationship so that there are no ugly surprises later on. You know, but in terms of building a strong parent-teacher relationship, I want to talk about parenting styles, because the parenting style you exhibit, the parenting style that you use to raise your child makes all the difference. If your child doesn't feel safe talking to you, if your child feels that you don't really listen to them, you don't believe them, you don't trust them, you don't have time for them, they're not really going to talk to you. They're not going to tell you what's going on. And on the flip side, teachers can also pick that up. Teachers know when a child and parent, when there's a connection, you know, as well. So it's important for us to step back and say, what is my parenting style? All of us have one. The question is, do you know what it is? Have you ever thought about it intentionally or no? There are 4 main ones, and I'll talk about them quickly. You know, you don't have to worry about taking it all down. I have a resource for you at the end of this where you can actually take a quiz to figure out your parenting style, right? So there's authoritarian, and that's the parent that just says, because I said so. Dictator style, don't ask me questions because I said so. They're the ones as well that will carry that same attitude many times to a teacher. They feel like they either know better, or the teacher shouldn't argue with them, or I paid my money, so therefore now my child must get an A, and they don't get an A, there's a problem, you know? That relationship, that style of parenting doesn't foster good relationship between parent and child. And if you don't know what's going on in your child's life, how can you even intervene? And how can you have a healthy relationship with the child and the teacher to discuss what's going on? The second one is authoritative. Now that's a parenting style that's much better. That's a parenting style that's authoritative. You make the rules, but you do it in relationship with your child. You engage, you discuss. You have high standards, as you should, but you're doing it with a relationship. So the child feels like, okay, you know what? I know where my parents are coming from. Then there's neglectful / permissive, which I kind of put together. And those are the parents who either you're busy, you're working so hard, or you're the parent who feels like, my children cannot suffer. You know, we all know that story of the person who says they didn't have shoes when they were working to school. And so now that they can buy shoes, their children must have all the shoes in the world. They will sleep in one, they will bathe in one. You get the idea. Those parents are almost say anything goes. I want to be my child's friend. I just want my child to be happy no matter what. That's not very effective either. And the last one I have coined is intentional parenting. And that really means a parent who's thinking about the long term. So when you make decisions today, you are thinking, why am I making these decisions? You don't make decisions that are the easiest to make. You make decisions that have the best long-term outcomes that you are looking for because you are raising an adult. So if a child throws a tantrum at 2 years old, for example, tantrums are part of life. A child who's throwing a tantrum at 2 is because they don't yet have the words to express how they feel. So a child throwing a tantrum because they didn't get their way, you now also smack them. You haven't taught that child anything, but the ability to calm down and say, use your words. What exactly is the problem? That in itself is something that the child learns that when I'm doing a tantrum, number one, you won't beat me. Number two, you're not going to give in, but we are going to discuss what exactly is the problem. Use your words. If you cannot be calm, kindly go and sit over there in the corner. And if you need to cry, go and cry it out. You are building it up. You are building up for a child that emotional intelligence to say, if I'm not feeling okay, I should be able to communicate. So our parenting styles make a huge, no matter what we talk about today, if your parenting style is not in sync with your child's love language, it's very difficult to be on the same page. Okay. Now, I want to talk about, well, this is research and I'll just quickly drop this out there. I believe this is from, I think it's Harvard that I picked this up from. For decades, researchers have pointed to one key success factor that transcends nearly all others, such as socioeconomic status, student background, or the kind of school a student attends. This is an excerpt from research that they've done that looks at children's outcomes, children that do well academically. And they're seeing that honestly, parental involvement is critical when it comes to children's academic performance. So no matter the school you go to, whether you go to Harvard, whether you go to the best schools in Nigeria, England, wherever you go, if parents are not involved at all, the outcomes are not perfect. It doesn't mean they are not outliers. We all know that there's always going to be outliers, but overall, parental involvement is key in a child's overall success. Parental involvement also more securely sets these children up to develop a lifelong love of learning, which is key to long-term success. And especially in today's day and age, in the tech world, digital world we live in, whether it's AI, ChatGPT, whatever you want to call it, we're in the tech world, digital dispensation. We all need to be flexible, we need to be adaptable, and we need to be able to love learning because things are changing so fast. Nobody today can say what I'm doing, the business I'm doing, using technology to build my community, my platform, becoming a coach, virtually coaching. There's so many things. When I was in school 20, how many years ago, it didn't even exist. Social media, digital media, they didn't exist. But that willingness to learn, we can pass it on to our children by being involved with them as well. All right, so let's quickly talk about roles of parents and teachers. Because everybody has a role to play. Roles of parents, the role of parents, primary support system. We are the ones who offer the emotional support, guidance, and a safe environment. If your children don't have a safe, enabling environment at home, no matter how great the school is, it'll be very difficult for our children to do well in school. We are the home learning facilitator. So in terms of what they learn in school, parental involvement means that you're engaging with them at home. You understand. I don't have to know your curriculum. You don't have to know what you're doing in further math or French or Spanish. But how can I support you in what you are learning in school? By being involved, your children are more likely to do better because they know you're asking. So I can't speak. I mean, I took French for God knows how many years in primary school, but I only know 2 sentences in French. I'm not a language person. My children don't love languages. However, I encourage them. There's Duolingo. You spend 20 minutes on there. You practice. What about Netflix? Let's watch a movie in Spanish, maybe with English subtitles. I will sit there and I will struggle through that French movie just because I want my child to be able to say there's also, and you can use entertainment to learn. So when we're involved and we're facilitating at home and we create that space in the home for them to continue to press in and learn in a fun way, they know that you're involved and they also want to do well. I don't want to please us. When your relationship is very warm, they want to please you and they know that you're trying to help them with suggestions. And then lastly, parents are advocates. They're not advocating for your child. Who is? So we must be able to advocate for our children. We must ensure that teachers are aware of any of their unique strengths, challenges, and learning styles. As they're getting ready to go back to the school year, this is a very important point. As they start the new school year, meet that teacher. If there are few things you feel this new teacher in this new class needs to be aware of, maybe there were big changes over the summer. Maybe you've noticed something unique about your child. Or maybe there's something your child has carried on and you feel that this new teacher wants to learn or hear about from you as the mom, from you as the dad, not just waiting to read a report that says, oh, this is how this child is. The teacher is also getting to know 20 or 30 children, who knows? So the parent that takes that step to say, I want to share a few things about my child or the way my child learns or something unique about my child, the teacher typically appreciate that. So, for example, my older daughter, she's one of those all-rounders. We thank God in terms of academics. But one thing I noticed very early was from year one, every new class we were in, I would tell the teacher, please don't start celebrating that she's so smart. I want you to focus on teamwork, confidence, and she pick up. I set the tone with every teacher. Because I think it's very important that we don't start celebrating. You are so smart. It's about the process. Those little things also help a teacher understand, oh, these are the values of this family. All right. We're going on to role of teacher. So we talked about role of parents. You have to be an advocate. You have to be there for the child. You have to be involved. You have to know why you're getting involved. Be an annoying parent where you're just in there all the time, just because you feel like, hey, I'm going to be involved. Please be involved with a purpose. Why am I getting involved? Is it because I want the teacher to know this about my child? Is it because I want to actually be really a facilitator at home? Am I trying to advocate for my child? Be clear on what your involvement is for. At the end of the day, teachers are supposed to be educational guides for our children. They are the experts in the subject matter. So let's not come and say, in my days, I used to get A1 in physics. So I know how you're supposed to teach physics. Don't irritate anybody. And by the way we were taught on many things has changed. I was talking to somebody who was the head of a school in the UK, and he was saying that one of the things he found is quite some Nigerian parents who will bring their children, they're spending a lot of money. We've heard of how W community has all these products for families abroad, studying abroad and all of that. But you're paying all this money in school fees abroad. And then you are insisting that the way you learned that subject 20 or 30 years ago is what you want to use to tell this teacher in the school how to teach your child. Please let the teachers do their job. Okay? Teachers serve as role models for students. So it's very important that when we're advocating for our children, we are very quick to identify if your child doesn't like their teacher. It is possible. As soon as you identify that, you want to try and understand what is going on. And don't just take it. But one of the things I've told my children is always that I will believe you. I will always believe what you say. Now, you don't want to abuse that trust. But they need to know that no matter what, mommy, daddy got their back. So teachers are meant to serve as role models and mentors for our children. So you need to make sure that as a teacher, you're doing that. And as a child, you want to see, does my child come home, as a parent, you want to see, does my child come home and speak well of the teacher? To like them. They don't have to love the work, but speak well of the teacher. Do they feel the teacher is fair? Do they think the teacher doesn't have favorites? When I went to second primary school, I still remember so well. Primary 6, the teacher made it so clear who her favorites were. She made it so clear who she thought was going to pass common entrance and who she thought she wouldn't. And to be sharing that publicly in the classroom of children, horrific. So certain things stuck with me, and I think it's all part of what I've carried with me into parenting and coaching as well. Role of teacher is also assessment and feedback. I think the feedback, quality of feedback teachers give makes all the difference. And as a parent, take time to read through those comments, feedback, and pay attention to what they are saying. Because it's when you pay attention, you can be that facilitator, that advocate for your child at home. Another example I'll throw in here is one thing we found out was with our son very early on, he didn't really like reading. But I remember a teacher saying it's because you haven't found the subject that interests him. So the minute we did, we found out, what, if you get him a book that has cards, he's going to read it. As that same child grew older, he's 13 now, going on 14. He reads, he enjoys reading, what's it called now? Guinness Book of Records. That's what he enjoys reading. So if you are forcing him, you must read Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Harry Potter. That's not his fair. She is to read and is to understand and is to discuss. Okay, if it's Guinness Book of Records, so every year we buy it for him, he flips through it. Sometimes he will come and then I'll ask him, I'll be like, hey, are there any connections they are making between the Guinness Book of Records of last year and this one? Is there any new thing? That's the engagement. He's reading, he's giving feedback, he's consuming content, he's expanding his mind. So I think teachers, parents, when we are all understanding the child and we're working together, it's usually magic. All right, and this is the last point. Collaborate with parents to address any challenges, academic behavior challenges. The faster teachers highlight things to the parents, the quicker, so that we all know what we need to do and we can intervene. That's about that. Now to quickly talk about improving outcomes, right? I cannot talk about anything parenting today and not discuss digital media consumption, talk about technology. As a parenting coach, my specific area that I really focus on is I call myself the responsible digital citizenship. Okay. It's really important that we all realize that we're in the digital age, it's not going anywhere. However, because our children are so techy, or you give a 2-year-old a device and they know exactly what to do, does not mean that they know how to consume it properly. So I want to do a quick quiz. Because of time, I'm not going to wait for rolling a poll and all, but I want you to just think about it as I'm asking this question, okay? True or false? Excessive digital media consumption can affect academic performance. Does anybody just want to unmute and say true or false? Okay.
True.
True, yes. Excessive digital media consumption can affect academic performance. Can it affect attention span? True. Now I want to read this for you. And this is a recent research that just came out as well. I love research, especially around this stuff, because this is a new space. So all of us are struggling. So far you were born pre-digital, you are struggling, okay? Media, they are also finding that a lot of our children are doing something called media multitasking. Have you heard of that? Media multitasking. So they're watching television, they're also using a phone, or they are playing a game. They are all, that they are constantly doing two things at the same time. They found out on research that they've done it, I think it's with mice, they've done the research that human beings actually can't multitask. It's a myth. We can't multitask. We are multi-switching. Something like we're switching all the time. We're not actually able to do anything properly. Now you want to add on digital media. A child is constantly doing 2 or 3 screens, or you think they are doing homework. They're in front of a laptop. Mommy, I'm doing homework. But hello, they are shopping here. They are reading news here. They are playing online games. There's a lot going on. And let's quickly read this together. Media multitasking has been linked to negative academic performance and other school-related variables. Studies, for instance, report that heavy media multitaskers are less efficient academic learners and may have less grades. The ability to maintain perseverance in otherwise aversive tasks, which seem important. They may have less grades. The ability to maintain perseverance in otherwise aversive tasks, which are all important for academic success. This study studied 12 to 16-year-olds, and they found out that heavy media multitasking is associated with lower academic performance on standardized. So the point just being that the research keeps getting deeper, and one of the things that we know is that digital consumption, time on screens, if it's not managed, it is affecting children's ability to concentrate, their attention span, it's affecting their academic performance. Now let's link this with parents and teachers. Imagine now a child who's used to the dopamine they are getting every time they play a game or they get a like. It's dopamine. The hormones are being released. By the way, I've explained all of this to my children. So they know that it's not mommy that just doesn't like technology. As God will have it, my business is mostly online. So they know I understand the role of tech. However, there's a responsible way to use it. So, so they're getting all this dopamine, hit, excitement. They now get to class. They now have one teacher that's not engaging with them, one teacher they don't like, or a teacher that doesn't understand that, children nowadays, attention span has reduced. How do you then make your material a bit more engaging so that children can learn? How can parents at home realize that, hello, but they cannot be on screens from morning to night? He cannot take his screens to his room. My children right now, it's not an argument again. For years now, no argument. Every night, that your phone, laptop, iPad, all of them, you have to drop it somewhere. They have a bed for their devices outside of their room. So, we have to realize that it's not just to pray and to hope and to wish. We need to really be aware of these things so that we can ensure we're helping our children when it comes to their emotional well-being. All right, we're starting to wrap up. Effective communication tips. I'm just going to drop this here because, sorry about that. Because, obviously it's not always going to be easy, but these are some ways I feel that as parents, we can take notes and say, how am I going to make sure we have effective communication tips between yourself and the teacher? Stay well informed about your child's progress. So stay connected. I find that sometimes when parents haven't been involved, suddenly one day they're surprised with the result they got, or they suddenly realize, I don't even know what's going on. Then they go with that level of aggression to the child or to the teachers. Kind of stay abreast along the way so they're not surprises. I also want to, what's what I'm looking for? Press in on mutual respect. Approach each other with open-mindedness. You have a shared goal. Your shared goal is the success of that child. That's your shared goal. So therefore, I need all of us to think about it from the perspective of this teacher has not come to just frustrate my life. And as teachers, this mom or dad who has a different perspective on life hasn't come to frustrate my life. So how do we lead with mutual respect? I think it's very important. And we have a culture sometimes of doing like a paid school fees. So go and figure it out. You have paid school fees, but it's still your child. So I think that respect is critical and it helps with communication. There's no year that I haven't gotten along with any of my children's teachers because of the way I lead in. As we start the new year, I come to them with the idea that with the respect that my child is going to be with you for a year. I expect you to do the best for them, but I'm also going to do my best and let's collaborate. And then I also think it's important we understand perspectives and understand that we all bring unique insights, we bring different styles. In fact, one of the promises I made for myself was I wouldn't teach my children math or teach them reading the time. Growing up, my mother tried to teach me math, tried to teach me reading the time. Don't know if you all remember that red tell the time clock. I'm aging myself here. And the trouble I used to get into because I just couldn't grasp it as quickly as she wanted, I started to fear reading the time. To this age, if I see an analog clock, my first instinct is to freeze. So when I was old enough to start buying my own watches, I only bought digital, So the point is, let us realize that, what, our role is to be a parent, teacher's role is to be teachers, but we absolutely need to be able to communicate and collaborate for our children's sake. Okay. One of the things I want to talk about is extracurricular activities. Between academics, between screen time, all of those things, extracurricular is really important because when your child does extracurricular activities, first of all, you can identify your children's strengths. When I went to university of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania, USA. And I remember getting there within my first year, there were certain things I identified that were very different from being a Nigerian and my colleagues that were mostly US students and some other international students. One of the things I realized was that they were never just about academics. All I grew up hearing was do well in school, get good grades. But with them, I realized they had extracurricular. I realized they had work experience. From as young as 13 years old, every summer they were working. There were certain things I picked up. And I remember saying, by God's grace, when I have children, I'm going to expose them to extracurricular activities. So from a very young age, from as young as 3 years old, I got them involved with, with music. Thankfully, they love it. I'm not musical. My husband isn't. They love music, and up to now, they're still playing it. You know, every year I would sign them up for a variety of extracurricular activities, from STEM to robotics to public speaking to chess. The only thing I would always tell them is, even if you don't like it, persevere. You will finish this term doing it because you will learn something. So I didn't allow quitting, because once you get used to that quitting, it gets easier. So you must finish it. However, as they got older and after a few years of doing several different extracurricular activities, I started getting their opinion in terms of signing them up. When they got to a particular age, I think maybe like primary 3, 4, it was like, okay, what do you like? We've done so many different things. So let's use it to identify children's strengths. And in hindsight, I'm very thankful that they both have very clear extracurricular activities, because guess what? It helps reduce this dependency on screen time. After you've done homework, you've done everything, you've read, you've done your chores, all of those things. Some of them, they can just want to sit on their screen till bedtime. Now, because they know they have to play the piano, the point is it gives them something else to do. To explore additional activities, parents, it's very critical that our children do other things than just academics. You know, it helps our children with learning, their brain development. And one of the things that we're seeing with research is that children who are engaged outside of academics just for the sake of passing. You know, when you go to school, is to get a good grade. But children who are involved in other things, sport builds teamwork, you know, music teaches resilience. Because when you are learning a piece, you have to learn it. You will make mistakes, but you don't give up. You keep going. If you're part of a band, you have to learn to be to synchronize with your band members. Pay attention to the conductor, be instructor. What do they call them? You know what I mean? So I find it so valuable that our children get involved in extracurricular activities. Okay. Okay. Particularly for this, I want to talk about this because there's always going to be challenges, you know, dealing with teachers and all of that. And especially when your children are starting to go abroad, you know, there are people that no matter what, where you at a point, you might decide your child shall not be with you at some point. Even if it's local, they're going to go to university, they'll go to the dorms, then you don't really get in touch with teachers, to be honest. But I want to talk about this because it's very important that some of these skills we're saying, we must let it transfer with us. If your child is at any point going to go abroad for school, whether boarding school, A levels, very important that we learn all of this before they go. Because before you add on different expectations, cultural differences, a child trying to engage with a new set of way of living, if you hadn't put some of this groundwork in place, it can be very difficult suddenly when you are faced with a whole different culture to be able to deal with those challenges. So I just thought I would share here that let's keep in mind that this skills we're learning now, or that you start deploying in your child's life, there are skills that we can continue to fine-tune and learn because each stage will be different. All right. So constructive solution, addressing different expectations, miscommunication happens. How do we respond? Our children are watching. If we abuse their teachers, they are so stupid. They don't even know anything. They, after all, I paid your fees. Are picking it up that's how you see their teachers. How would they respect them? I think it's very important that we engage in active listening, empathy, and open-mindedness. Okay? All right, and okay, this slide, and then I believe okay, I see if my time is up. All right, let me do this slide and then I'll wrap up. Yeah? Is that okay? Okay. I want to talk about our children's mental health. I mentioned very early at the beginning about WHO saying that depression will be the leading cause of what? Disability by 2030. That's just 2030, which is around the corner. Children, when it comes to mental health challenges, is on the increase. So what can parents do? Open lines of communication. Please ensure, very critical, that your parenting style and your child's love language, they're in sync. If they're not in sync, you're going to be butting heads all the time. And then in this digital dispensation we're living in, you cannot afford to have your child build a wall between you and them. But if they build a wall, they are going to disappear into their virtual world where you have no clue what is happening. Even all the screen time we talk about, parental software, all of those things still will not catch everything your child is doing when they are on it. Are you going to be with them all the time? Possible. So please, open lines of communication are critical. Emotional intelligence, critical. And your child use their words to express how they feel. I tell my children all the time, no emotion in itself is bad. is what you do with it. If teachers also understand this, for example, when they are talking to the children, what happened today? How are you feeling? Why are you feeling like this? We must be able to communicate. And then positive discipline is critical. I know spank or no spank, team spank or no spank. I believe in positive discipline, which means that we're focused on what are we correcting and why. All of this play part in how the child feels, because if the child is feeling well about themselves, mental health is positive, they can go to school and they can learn well. All right. We've talked about managing screen time already. Maybe in Q&A, we can talk a little bit more about that, because no matter how great and involved you are in the child's education and school, if screen time is left loose and is not managed, you will undo all the hard work you think you're doing. I want us to really, maybe, I don't know, I'm seeing me inviting myself back, but I think a session around just screen time will be very critical. All right, and I'm going to end here, which is that there's a strong link between the mental health of parents and the mental health of adolescents. According to the study, depressed teens are about 5 times more likely than non-depressed teens to have a depressed parent. And anxious teens are about 3 times more likely than non-anxious teens to have an anxious parent. Basically, what that means is, as a parent, your level of mental health directly affects your children. So you want to pay attention to that, because you're passing it all on to them, and these things affect their academic support as well. So we're done. Digital parenting needs new rules, parental involvement, engagement, connect the dots, be intentional. And I'll share this with you, but these are just some resources for you to be able to go deeper into some of these things that we've just kind of rushed to get through today. Thank you so much. Done.
Thank you very much, Ma. Please put your virtual hands together for her. That session was nothing short of amazing. Thank you so much, Madam Yeti Williams, for yet another insightful presentation. And I am certain that every attendee has gained a lot from your presentation. One very important point I picked up is the concept of the total child. A child who is thriving in all aspects, academics, as well as social and emotional well-being, which is what every stakeholder should work towards achieving. Thank you very much once again, ma'am, for the wonderful presentation. I know a lot of us have questions to ask, so I'll still implore you to put your questions in the Q&A section, and then we will take them at the end of all the presentations. Also, we have a link to a feedback form being dropped now on the comment section. We would like to hear from you. So please make sure to fill the feedback form. For the people who are just joining the session, we have been discussing beyond academics, shaping the next generation. And we just had Mrs. Yeti Williams speak to the topic, fostering dynamic parents-teacher partnerships for children development. Before that, Dr. Abimbola Ogundere was speaking to the topic, cultivating study skills and emotional well-being for children. Dr. Abimbola, are you still here with us?
I am. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Apologies for that to everyone. Okay, so I would just quickly, to be honest, round up, so that we can go to Q&A. Let's see. So I wanted to speak, I liked the fact that Yeti spoke about transferable skills, and I would just do a little bit of, explore that a little bit more so that parents can really understand, know the scope of these skills. So right in the 21st century, all sorts of research, many of them have been going around in the last 5 to 10 years about the skills that children need to learn today to be successful in the world today and of course in the future. So I'll just reel some of them off, right? Critical thinking, problem solving, communication skills, both verbal and written, collaboration and teamwork. I know everybody, in the workplace, you can imagine that how important collaboration and teamwork is. Adaptability and flexibility is like what has happened this afternoon, where for some reason my internet has decided to be funny and I had to sort of move. So that adapting to new situations, embracing ambiguity and change is also very key. Digital literacy, Yeti Williams has
Dr. Bimbola, are you still here? Dr. Bimbola, can you hear us? Dr. Abimbola.
Yes, I'm back. I'm this is so, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, so I'm rounding off. All right, like I said, time management and organization, financial literacy, problem identification, ethical decision-making, resilience and grit. Again, we're speaking to the transferable skills. What makes them transferable is any space that your child finds themselves in, these are the skills that they will need. Whatever space, whatever country, whatever workspace, whatever industry, right? These skills are important. So networking and relationship building, self-directed learning, I spoke about that earlier. Environmental awareness, we know all the things are happening with regards to climate change and all that here. So our children must be responsible citizens of the world that they live in. And of course, health and wellness is very important. So these skills, again, like I said, enable children to be adaptable, to be resilient, lifelong learners who can navigate the challenges and opportunities of the modern world. Like I said, anywhere they find themselves. Now, how can parents do this? Luckily, Yeti Williams has spoken to a lot of it, but this speaks to the non-academic learning. So it's not just academics all the time, non-academic learning, physical activities, exercise, sports, right? Creativity, drawing, playing a musical instrument, painting, art, very key. And these are things that two parents can do Saturdays, Sundays, after school, long, extremely long summer holidays like this. Give the parents the opportunity to create this non-academic learning, experiences for their children. And we know that they're important because they foster so many of those transferable skills. And of course, life skills, cooking, gardening, household chores. We have children in the 21st century now that they do not even know how to sweep. They do not know how to clean after they can't make their bed, right? Very, very key. Social and emotional learning, like Yeti said, feelings, speaking about feelings, empathy, emotional intelligence, and they can develop this role-playing journaling, ways they can do this. Outdoor. So I know many of us, when I put this, people are going to laugh. Where is the camp? But I can tell you that my church, again, to bring this into context, organized a vacation Bible school for teenagers, and they took them out into the camp, out into the world, right? Like a real camping experience, right? So those things actually happen. So it's important that this fosters curiosity and a sense of wonder. What else can parents do? Cultural exploration, different cultures. The first time I went to the East was this year. I'm 41 years old, right? I don't have to go to the East to understand, but it would have been nice to have gone there earlier, right? Cultural events, festivals, art exhibitions, and these are things, again, low-hanging fruits that parents can do to develop their children's transferable skills. Technology and digital literacy. Discuss internet etiquette, cybersecurity, very, very important for the children. Mindfulness and relaxation, I can't overemphasize this. Your children need to also rest. They also need to, meditate. They also need to they need the downtime. And downtime is not computer time. Downtime is not TV time. Downtime is just, that meditation, those mindfulness exercises that be center, and even adults, that we center adults as well. It's not too early to teach our children. And of course, hobbies. What do they just like to do themselves, right? What do they like? Some people, I met a child that collects stamps, even till now. Where do you find the stamps? I met a child that collects, all those shells in the beaches. And it's just something that he likes to do. And these things promote passion, that you can have passion about, be passionate about something and then run with it. So it's not just academics. Sometimes, people say, you're a medical doctor, how are you in education? Because I'm passionate about education, right? A parent saw me today and said, you are everywhere. And when I'm working, I'm enjoying it so much that it's not like work, right? Because I'm passionate about that. There are so many other things I'm passionate about that is not about academics. So the earlier we get children to, again, find a passion, explore life enough to get a passion, that would promote that focus, that dedication. And I always say, those might be the things that they do. Everybody says about me, I taught my fellows, my classmates in primary school, I taught in secondary school, I taught in university. I was one of those people that would gather people and do tutorial. Right? People say, oh, well, then you taught me that I passed, and even I can't remember, but I just used to teach. And look at where I am today. I'm smack in the middle of the education sector, right? So it's important for the children, their own hobbies, their own interests, apart from all the ones that we're trying to expose them to, very key. Family time. There's nothing like family time. We must, when we say there's this, we must invest in family time, family bonding activities. We do a lot of card playing, we play Jenga, right? We like driving, so we can just drive off somewhere and a road trip, everybody's excited, right? So it's important that, and then everybody in my family likes movies, to the cinema, so it's a bonding. We can all watch the same kind of movie in terms of the kids' movies and all that. So it's important because that contributes to feeling of that connectedness, that well-being. When you think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there is that feeling of belonging is there. So if your child goes through life, gets to an adult and doesn't feel connected at any point, then there's an issue. So it's very, very key. Yes, we're also busy. Oh my goodness. But it's important that we create that time, right, for that family bonding and well-being. Entrepreneurship and financial literacy. It is not too, my daughter is somewhere in the UK, and then, she says, I need to get a job to do, because my friend said she got a job and she earns £1,000. Do you know the thing that can, so understanding that that sense of money, getting money, keeping money, putting money to use, invest in something, get some money back, get some returns. It is not too early to do that. You don't want children who grow up who do not understand the concept of money management and using money and financial literacy. It is very, very key. You don't want children who are wastrels, wasteful, just get any money, spend the money anyhow, right? It is key, right? That, and of course, that entrepreneurial mindset, finding a problem, identifying a problem, finding a solution, and, monetizing the solution. Language learning, Yeti said this as well. About what year are we? About 2 years ago, I started going to French school. I also, why not, right? Why would I know only English and Yoruba as a human being, right? So it's very important that we can broaden, and there are so many apps now that we can use for that. Critical thinking, problem solving, very key as well. And that's it from me. Thank you very much. I will stop sharing now. Thank you very much. Again, apologies for my internet travel.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abimbola. I think we need to make use of the clap emoji in the chat room, because that was a very eye-opening session from you before now, and even the one you just concluded. Thank you so much for the very detailed presentation. And I must say that it's been an exciting time. One very important point that you made, which stuck for me, is the fact that parents are their children's lifelong and permanent teachers. And there is a need for consistency. We need to be there for them, so that the teachers can also know that the parents are concerned. And so the teachers can be spurred to give more to the children and give their all about it. So thank you very much, ma'am. We really, really appreciate your time today. We have a few questions, and we're going to take just a few of them within the time frame that we have. The first question I have, I'll direct to you, Dr. Abimbola. What is your advice for teachers who have students that are dealing with neglect from parents? So what would you advise teachers to do if their students are dealing with neglect from their parents?
Yeah, so thank you so much, Ifeoluwa, for that question. If we're in other climes, obviously they have the social service system. So yeah, social services system and all that. But in Nigeria, I mean, what we do is we call the parent in. So we take photos, we get evidence, as it were, right? We get evidence, we take photos, we take videos. Because sometimes the parent comes and says, no, that sort of. So when we call that parent in, we have all the evidence and we show the parent. Any parent who is really a parent would feel very sad when they see that, that's the evidence that we have. And I think sometimes many parents even leave home so early that, their children are at the mercy of housekeepers and nannies. And by the time they are back, the children have changed. They don't know. We've had many issues of children coming with dirty socks, smelly uniform, food from home that has maggot and stuff in it. We've had many of that. But I think I usually like to give parents the benefit of the doubt. Come in, let's have a conversation. And usually we have a school counselor, a guidance counselor who sits in on that meeting and is a bit better able to, speak, so, say some things in the right way as well. So that's what I would do.
Great, thank you very much, Ma. And that leads me to the second question I have for you. For an 8 to 5 parent who lives in Lagos, we all know how Lagos can be crazy and how difficult it is when you are a parent and then you have an 8 to 5 job. How do we strike this balance and be present when required to be?
Okay, so what I advise parents is be very intentional, right? What I mean by that is, so what time do you have? So you can't say you don't have any time at all. So what time do you have? So if it's, I know a parent, he's a senior partner, I don't think there's anything, but he's a partner in PwC now. Many years ago, his kids are, well grown now. Many years ago, Saturday morning, he's with his children for like the whole day. He's with his kids and he's looking at their work. So what he said was he asked us to send their notes home, that he wants to see their notes every weekend. So he sits with the notes, he has conversations with them, he takes them here, he takes them there. And, so that's sort of, they all start getting, looking forward to that Saturday morning, right? So some parents, it might be Sunday, but you can't say that there is no day in a week that you do not have time. Some parents can say, okay, you know what, you've done your homework. When I get home, right, I will take a look at it, leave some comments, and then in the morning, I would get back to it, right? So you would find a way. And then the children will also know that you are trying, right? They would know. If you are really, really trying, they would know that you are trying. And of course, when you now take your leave, your leave, I mean, people, 8 to 5 people, I'm sure you have leave. So your leave is not the time to then, oh, wow, I'm going on a holiday with my friends for their 50th birthday. Then there's a joke coming in there, right? So it's just being intentional with your time. That's also time management, even for adults.
Great, thank you very much, Ma. That was wonderfully said. My next question is to Madam Yeti Williams. Are you still with us, please?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay. So the first question for you says, how can parents ensure that they do not displace their children's interest or life plan as a result of their own wishes and personal preferences? So this person is talking about a parent saying, oh, you must be a lawyer, but the child actually wants to be an engineer. How do they ensure that this does not happen?
Yeah. So first of all, it's parents realizing that, our role is to guide our children. It's not to impose our preferences or desires on them. We can't impose, we can share. If a child wants something very different and you force them to do something else, at the end of the day, we know so many people. I have a lot of friends, for example, who studied law because their parents said they must study law. As soon as they finished studying law, they now went to do what they really wanted to do, and they're really passionate about that. That's just one sector. I think it's very important for parents to allow their children to have their space to navigate to what their interests are, to understand why are you asking your child to do to go in that particular career line. Sometimes you find that it's just the parents' wish. Maybe they even wished that they were a lawyer. They were like, when I have a child, my child will be a lawyer. That's your desire. Mommy and daddy, you can go back to school if you really want to be a lawyer, So I think it's really important we allow our children to be who they are, guide them. But I don't know why we continue to do that. And I know it's a difficult thing to shake, but we must not impose. We should guide, we should pay attention to children's interests. And this is where relationship with teachers, career counselors, and all of that will come in place so that we're really preparing our children for the future. There are some jobs now that my daughter was pointing out some roles to me recently that I had never heard of, ever. So imagine I still say, no, if you're not doing law, engineering, math, you're not doing anything. So that's what I would advise. Just try not to do it because it doesn't benefit anybody at the end of the day.
Great, thank you very much, ma'am. I am back to you, Dr. Abimbola, for the next question. Are you still with us, ma'am?
Yes, I am.
So this person is saying that some parents place their children over the teachers to the extent that they insult the teachers without considering the environment. How do these teachers manage this situation?
So, first of all, definitely wrong, right? And I tell parents that it just shows the sort of background, your thinking, your exposure, when you do things like that. Now, for the teachers, what I tell them is, it's almost like that. So you can imagine, so when somebody is doing that, so you can imagine the kind of thinking and exposure that you have. So don't take it personally. But what we do as a school is to put a clamp down on it. So, sometimes the parent, the teacher, we don't want the teacher to, retaliate and there's a big shout out, so the patient, you report, we know, and then there's a clamp down. I've had situations in our school that we've had to walk parents out of the school because they just came in shouting. And when we do parent orientation, we explain to parents, these are the rules of engagement, even for you as a parent, right? So we do not do that. And we explain it to them. It's not just a don't. When you start shouting at the teachers, then the children are thinking, okay, so this teacher is really not, this teacher is really nobody, really. So I can then shout at the teacher, and then how is learning going to go on? And then when everybody starts, what kind of, there's chaos. So that's what we say. So we tell we almost like we apologize in advance, but there's a preventive bit of it, and then there's teacher, we are sorry on behalf, and of course we treat the parents, we handle that situation. So that's what we do. But that it would not happen, it's happened. It happened last week at the school. So I was at work and I just heard shouting, and I was wondering, okay, could it be because it was summer? Then I came out and I saw the parents and I'm saying, why are you shouting? So I asked, excuse me, okay, please come into my school. Now calm down. First of all, you don't come into my school shouting. And I think because, our schools are it's a market, the more children you have, the more, successful you are. That's why I will say this, I've said this clearly to many people. That's why many times school owners or school administrators or whatever, they are not quick to really clamp down on certain things that parents do that just are not right. So that needs to go back to the school, go back to the culture and all that. But again, we teachers apologies in advance for that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. My last question is to Madam Yeti Williams. Are you still with us, ma'am?
I'm here.
Okay, great. The last question says, how can parents, teachers, and students work together to create a supportive learning environment that encourages growth beyond academics?
Beyond academics, that's a very good point. And one of the things that I found really works, and this is for my children, is at the beginning of every school year, I meet the teachers and I act like it's a relationship I am building, because I'm also building that relationship. And I meet the teachers, we talk about the child's interests, and then we've also looked at what the school is offering, for example, in terms of extracurricular. I find that when the teachers are also aware that you're not just about academics, then they are more open to having conversations with you and your children about what else their interests are. Because when the teachers know, for example, that my children play instruments outside of school, my son is I think he's a budding engineer, and all the things that he does outside of school, they encourage them to bring it into class, to bring it as part of their learning experience in the school environment. So I think it's important that everybody realizes that life is not just about academics, it's academics and other things. So what does that mean for you? What are your aspirations? What are your child's interests? How does the teacher understand this importance as well for you, so that all along the way you are able to build it together, and it's really a relationship. I honestly think that the best parent-child, parent-teacher relationships are those that are started with the mindset that this is a relationship and we're going to be together for a year. So because we're going to be together for at least a year, can we make sure that we're building this properly with the goal ultimately for our children to succeed? So that's what I'll say. Communicate, be on the same page, have some plans, have some goals as well as a family, and then make sure that the teachers understand that. And then they're going to be asking you, how can I support? And I find that when you get a teacher to that point, it's beautiful because everybody's working together for the good of those children.
Great. Thank you so much. That was wonderfully said. Thank you very much to you, Madam Yeti Williams and Dr. Abimbola Okundiri. This brings us to the end of the session today. And like I promised at the beginning of the session, I am sure that you have learned a lot of things here, which will stick with you and help you make better decisions when playing your role as a stakeholder within the education sector. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. We are on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and we are on Facebook at the W Community. Also ensure that you click the subscription button below so you can get first-hand information on all of our events and offerings. Can I also tell you something interesting? Next month, the W webinar will focus on women in the agribusiness sector. We always bring you very interesting and impacting sessions, right? So you can be certain that that is going to be worth every bit of your time. Hence, you need to make sure to look out for the date and the time the webinar will be holding. You can also get to refer women who are playing within the agribusiness space starting from tomorrow. So make sure to follow us across our social media platforms to get the information when this starts. Remember to be your sister's keeper. This is the end of the session today, and what better way to end it than to bring up my last speaker, who will be giving us the closing remarks. She is none other than the unit head of the W Initiative. Please welcome Bimpe Gisori. Good evening, Bimpe, and welcome.
Thank you, Feoluwa. Thank you for making me a speaker. But wow. It's as if the webinar should now come to an end. Thank you for Dr. Abimbola. Thank you, Yeti Williams. Thank you for giving us an impactful, insightful, and educational webinar. It was really packed. I hope people wrote notes because I kept jotting. And what I really loved about this webinar is enforcing points that parents need to learn. It's that parents play a vital role in the children's life, in the skills they need to have a successful life, in a successful academic life they need to have, that we play a vital role. It's also very important that we allow the teachers do their job. Wow. It's because we are all teachers, yes, we know that. We teach them a little, they go to school, they come back, but we need to allow teachers do their role. And also, I love the fact that was really stressed was we need to be attentive and listen to these children. These children are sensitive right now. They are not like us, they are not built like us. So they're in a new world and they see things differently. So you need to listen to them. You need to pay attention to them. I love that part that was stressed. And I also love the part that the mental health of a parent affects that child. So we also need, yes, a lot is happening right now. We're all screaming about the FX, we are screaming about the fuel, but we need to know that these children are looking at us, and whatever we say, whatever mood we are, also affect them. Then also we need to create time for them. Yes, I love the movie night. I do the movie night. So it's not out of place. You don't have to go to the cinema. You can do a movie night in your home. You have if you have a smartphone, smart TV, just buy a popcorn and then just be you and the kids, the whole family, and say, today's a movie night. It could be a Saturday. You could just create something. It could be once a month, but you're just creating an opportunity to bond, to learn from them, seriously learn from them, teach them that it's important. These are skills they will need to grow up with, and these are skills they will carry to their own adulthood. Finally, I would love the idea of learning new languages. I've been wanting to learn a new language. Now, this has given me a boost to go into that direction. But I want to say a very big thank you to Dr. Abimbola and a very big thank you to Yeti Williams for creating time for us, even sharing some part of your life experiences with us, and also giving us a very meaningful session with us. And finally, congratulations to your daughter, Dr. Abimbola. I am really proud of you and your daughter. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ife.
Thank you so much, Binke, for the closing remarks. Let us all remember that whatever input we give to our children this day is what we get to see in the future. So let us make sure to do our part as stakeholders within the education sector. A very big thank you to all our speakers who have taken our time to educate us today. Thank you to the W Initiative of Access Bank for always putting together amazing sessions such as this. And the beautiful thing is that the W addresses issues relating to all segments of life. So be sure to look out for everything that we do. Thank you again for joining us today. So we'll come your way next time. My name is Ifeoluwa Omoto, and this is W, inspiring, connecting, and empowering. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks for having me on. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And it goes to bad bread for bad.
I'm quite excited to be the winner of the Access Bank Womenpreneur Pitch-a-thon class of 2021. It's been interesting. I don't really know. I don't know how to express my excitement, but I worked hard for it, and I'm sure every other entrepreneur, every other womenpreneur worked hard as well. But being crowned the winner is like a big dream come true for me, and I'm so happy. I want to say thank you to Access Bank, thank you to W Initiative, and may God bless us all. Amen.
I see a light inside of you, so let it shine. It's time to spread your wings and fly. Reach for the sky. Get up, don't let nothing hold you. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we go again. 'Cause we believe in you. Say one day you go make a you down, stand with the ground. Yes, we believe in you. Yeah. Don't you give up on yourself till the world knows who you are. Keep keep on shining. Get up, don't let nothing hold ya. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we gon' let that. 'Cause we believe in you. Say one day you gon' make out. One day. One day you gon' make out. One day you gon' make out. One day you'll be like the sun. Say one day you go shine.
Access, more than banking.
I'm tired of trying. I need help. I want to try IVF. I know it's expensive.
Are you struggling with a health challenge? Do you need financial help to access treatment? If yes,
Apply now for MHSS, the Maternal Health Service Support, a discounted loan by the W Initiative of Access Bank with low interest rates, no loan fees, flexible repayment plan. This is your best bet for financing your health needs. For more information, visit our website on www.thewcommunity.com or any Access Bank branch nationwide. You can also send an email to wcares@accessbankplc.com. Terms and conditions apply. The MHSS has successfully financed hundreds of health procedures.
the next one could be yours.